Warning, this is a review for the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode Pinkie Pride. No audio, video, clips from the episode in question, or songs from the episode in question, and trust me, there were a lot of them, are being used in the making of this review, saying that they belong to Hasbro Studios and DHX Media. Funny, the episode was about a birthday. Hasbro, thank you. And leave a comment and sub if you like. Let's get this party started. As I've said before on the new 26 or in previous pony themed videos on Code Equestria's main channel. Less of Pinkie Pie, more of the others is good for the show. Why do I say this? Well, the episode Pinkie Pie has in this week's episode, Pinkie Pride, is case in point to what I am about to say here. And I know I'm about to shock the bronyhood when I say it, and there will probably be some analyzers and some people on the fandom that are probably going to rip me to shreds. But here it goes. Pinkie Pie should not be a main element of harmony. You heard me. She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be a main character. She should be a sub. Why? Because writing for Pinkie Pie is very, very specific. In the case of Pinkie Pride, this shows Pinkie Pie at her absolute best. Why? Because Amy Keaton Rogers actually went the extra mile and wrote for her. Notice that every episode that has been Pinkie Pie related in the history of the series, Feeling Pinkie Keen, Party of One, Friend Indeed, and Too Many Pinkie Pies, showcase Pinkie Pie at her best in terms of writing, all except for A Friend Indeed, because, let's be honest, that episode was character assassination on the highest level, because she was a jerk through most of it, let's be honest. But Pinkie Pride showcases Pinkie Pie at her most happiest and her most desperate and even her most depressed. Granted, this is the third keysode as well. Hasbro, slow down on the harmony keys. I mean, it seems like every odd number there is a keysode. So you mean to tell me in another two that I don't know, Applejack will get hers? Is that the way it's working here now? Because we all know Twilight's last. And quite frankly, there's only two more ponies to go in this respect. Fluttershy and AJ. But enough about that. This is a review of the episode in question. It's Rainbow Dash's birthday, but it's also the anniversary of when she first decided to make her home in Ponyville. So Pinkie Pie comes up with an interesting new term, a birth anniversary, which is pretty nice. For this birth anniversary, she wants to throw the coolest bash possible and brings in a little help. An out-of-towner by the name of Cheese Sandwich, played by Weird Al Yankovic. And yes, that Weird Al Yankovic, the king of parody music videos. And trust me, there's no one better, nor will there ever, in terms of Weird Al. Weird Al's character is one part Clint Eastwood, one part crazy Pinkie Pie duplicate. Only his lengths to go straight to the coolest party ever involve cannons, lights, streamers, you name it, he's got it. Unlike Pinkie Pie's style that is more subdued and about the details, Cheese Sandwich is all about the eccentric, and this is a good play for him. Absolutely. As the co-party planner though, it looks like Cheese's techniques are starting to get the love of the town and the rest of the Harmony Six. Now, most of this episode is told not in a lot of dialogue, but in song. The beginning song almost sounds like a sequel to the Smile song about how prolific Pinkie Pie is as a party planner and how her parties have impacted the town to make everyone, well, smile. While Cheese Sandwich's initial song starts out as a great introductory song to not only his attitude, but to his character. You get his entire character background nearly in the lyrics. And, because it's Weird Al, it almost sounds like a polka. Even so much so that the character breaks out an accordion. It's like this character was custom made with Weird Al in mind, which is absolutely perfect if you're having the series' first ever major guest star. Yes, I know people will say that John Delancey started out in a guest starring role, but he became a semi-regular. This, however, is a straight up guest star, and they utilize him to the absolute fullest. What starts out as a co-plan, though, quickly turns into competition because Pinkie makes it so. See, she thinks that Sandwich is going to step on her turf, and she doesn't like it. So much so, they have a wild western style. There's so many odes to good, the bad, and the ugly in this episode, so that it's sickening, from Cheese Sandwich's initial poncho to the way he gives lines to the showdown that is the goof off hosted by Twilight, of course. And just the overall delivery of the cheese sandwich aesthetic, being a roaming party nomad, works out great for the character. But of course, Pinkie actually forfeits the goof off and admits that cheese sandwich is actually better when things stop becoming fun and start becoming partially harmful and unfun. This is when Pinkie Pie has her key moment, which, by the way, in a second, more somber version of the first song, there's also a little reference to a key clue as well, but it's done more subtly with a teardrop in the town's lake. Ultimately, though, they come to a respectful understanding, and it is found out that Cheese Sandwich was initially inspired to become a party planner because of a party that he ran into that Pinkie was hosting. Since then, he wanted to spread similar joy wherever he went, journeying all throughout Equestria to find his party inspiration. The two ultimately work together and make Rainbow Dash's birthday party an excellent bash. And we even get a pony version of a birthday song of sorts as well at the end that is very high energy and partially catchy. Nice job, Daniel. Rainbow Dash pretty much acts as the balancing act for this episode, keeping both of the characters and their goofy antics on track. And I have to give DHX major props in this episode. There are so many things going on in this episode that your eyeballs can't basically catch everything in this episode. There's even a funny section where the rubber chicken, known as Boneless, goes into live action mode for a second, only to be followed by a real life picture of an alligator that is supposed to represent Gummy. Yes! This episode was so much that I think DHX blew their animation budget. Whether this was Percival or not, the fact that the two characters were going on a duel and they were both allowed to be zany and out of control, allowing Pinkie Pie to have the perfect friend / protagonist. And yes, I would even say this would even be a perfect shipping for Pinkie Pie for the fanfics. The two characters wound up perfectly well developed, and the episode was well paced for allowing Pinkie to have her time in the sun. But this episode, although individually may be flawless for an individual episode based around a character, this episode unfortunately highlights a big problem with Miss Pie. The fact that her best moments are often written purposely for her. When episodes have her but are not written around her, her comic timing is mistimed. Her roles are often miscued and seem awkward and weird. And although that's supposed to be part of the character, you're supposed to get a laugh and a chuckle. Example being Rainbow Falls. Her role in that episode was awkward, unnecessary, and almost forced. But if you look back at most of the episodes, especially the early ones, that forced motif continues unabated, which would lead me to say this to Hasbro. Instead of putting Rarity to the side, why not put Pinkie Pie to the side? Sure, her comic timing and happy and optimistic demeanor is great, but if you can't write for it properly and master comic timing in every situation, a character that is obviously supposed to be used as a stress reliever can become a painfully bad oversight and ruin other great episodes because of it. Pinkie Pride is a great individual episode for Pinkie and, quite frankly, her best work as a character to me. Everything was well paced, faced, the character of Cheese Sandwich has become one of my sub-favorite characters, and not just because of Weird Al voicing it, but also, his point in the episode was never underutilized or underemphasized, and ultimately, with Boneless being the key clue, it shows a great respect and almost like a samurai giving up his sword in respect to the greater master as well. This episode was a fine bit of 22 minutes and continues, in my opinion, the streak of the first 13 just being excellent and fun. Although I am worried about the key pace in the long term, this key episode particularly stands out considering that the last one was an absolute dud. That's why I give Pinkie Pride the first ever perfect score for this season. This one is a straight up 6. There's so many reasons to laugh. There's so many reasons to enjoy. The characters are perfect. Perfect. Not too many are used. And the musical tracks that run the episode are perfectly placed and run the plot along. And even at some point slow the pace down just enough so that more lunacy can take place. This is the best example so far since the pilot of the show at its best this season. However, this ultimately emphasizes that Pinkie Pie should be used sparingly and carefully, not all the time. Sometimes you want one of your best to be on the bench, not a starter. And this episode shows why she would be the perfect man to a character such as maybe Scootaloo in her place, or perhaps someone else. Leave an idea in the comments section of who you might think if Pinkie Pie were to be flipped to the bench to replace her. And tell us why. Who knows? Your comment might be directly answered from me. And also, make sure if you're a sports fan to sub and check out Code Equestria Sports. It's our newest venture that's back to this channel's original roots as a sports channel. And we hope you enjoy that. So, until next week with Simple Ways, this is Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. And thanks for watching.